Gladiators, Hollywood's favorite misunderstood heroes. Think they always fought to the death? No, not unless someone royally screwed up. These fighters were investments, trained, disciplined, and expensive to replace. It wasn't just chaos in the arena. They even had referees. Yep, these blood-soaked brawls were more UFC than Hunger Games. But how did it all begin? Around 264 BC, Rome decided funeral eulogies were boring and thought, you know what would really honor the dead? Sword fights. These munera, funeral rites, were less about remembrance and more about spilling blood to keep the deceased spirit happy. Thanks to Rome's insatiable appetite for spectacle, this evolved into full-blown games. By 105 BC, gladiators weren't just at funerals, they were front and center in public arenas, becoming a political tool for the elite. Nothing says, "Vote for me," like free entertainment and carnage. Now for the juicy origin debate. Were gladiators Etruscan, Samnite, or Campanian in origin? The Etruscan psychopomp Charon, basically their Grim Reaper, might have inspired the idea, but the Campanians get credit for the first recorded gladiatorial match in 310 BC to celebrate a military win over the Samnites. By the 1st century BC, gladiators were big business. Lanistas, manager-trainers, ran gladiator schools, churning out these human weapons for sold-out shows in amphitheaters. And here's a twist. Gladiators weren't always slaves. Sure, most were captives or criminals, but there were also volunteers. Yep, people willingly signed up for this brutal gig. Why? Fame, fortune, and maybe a touch of madness. Let's talk beasts. Because apparently, gladiator-on-gladiator action wasn't enough. They brought in lions, tigers, and hippos. These wild beast hunts, or venations, upped the drama. Gladiators would face down exotic animals from across the empire, showcasing Rome's power over man and beast. The Colosseum even featured mock naval battles. Yes, they flooded the arena for that. And yes, women gladiators were a thing. Known as gladiatrices, these fierce female fighters were rare, but oh so real. They didn't grace the Colosseum's grand stage as often as their male counterparts, but they brought drama to smaller arenas, often battling each other or wild animals. Emperor Domitian was a huge fan, even hosting nighttime games to showcase these badass women under the moonlight. Talk about dramatic lighting. Of course, Rome being Rome, they couldn't resist throwing some shade. Enter Juvenal, the ancient world's gossip columnist, who gleefully mocked wealthy women ditching their silk robes and scented baths to train as gladiators. Imagine the scandal, he sneered. But these women weren't just a punchline. Their presence in the arena challenged expectations and made sure no one forgot that even in Rome's male-dominated world, women could fight, literally, for their place in history. Gladiators peaked under emperors like Trajan, who reportedly hosted games with 10,000 fighters. But the tide turned in 404 AD, when Emperor Honorius, swayed by evolving Christian ethics, declared the games barbaric and banned them after a monk was martyred for protesting a fight. The spectacle that once defined Rome was no longer in. So there you have it, gladiators, heroes, entertainers, and victims of Rome's relentless thirst for blood and power. Their stories may have ended in the sands of the arena, but their legend continues to echo through history.